All right, we are on the floor of the New York Stock Exchange talking markets with Jim Cramer. Jim, let's start with Apple's developer conference from yesterday.
Look, I think that this Apple device, which is priced above the Echo, will be a big seller. Because what people don't realize in the press, and people don't realize, I think, in the technology who cover Apple, is brand loyalty. And brand loyalty is something that Tim Cook has always stressed. And if Apple puts out a device, people feel they wouldn't put out a device unless they thought it was superior to everything else. And if the sound quality is the issue, which is what I care about, I have the Echo, I have the Harman Kardon, I have the Logitech. You know what? I want this. If people start talking about the sound quality being great, I even was involved with a Pono venture with Neil Young on one of these startup sites. Why? Because I care tremendously about sound, and if the sound's great, I want it. And I don't think I'm alone.
All right, let's also talk about FANG stocks. I mean, just surging here.
Yeah, then I saw someone on my Twitter feed saying that they're exhausted. When I read that, I think to myself, how many times have I heard they're exhausted? How many times? Now, the stocks that are really flying, Google's flying, Amazon, I don't think these can be stopped right here. I think they've got more lift. Facebook's a little stalled. The A is not Apple, but Apple does seem for the moment stalled. Netflix gets a very important note today from Cantor saying things are going to go up. NVIDIA, which is, when you go FANG, NVIDIA's doing better again. Lam Research is another one I follow, which makes the capital equipment for the NVIDIAs of the world. All good. Do I want the rally to be broader? Of course I do. Has there been periods where it's just all FANG? Yes, it has. Do you make broad and sweeping generalizations about this? Go right ahead. You sound smart, but you might not be.
Well, we love talking FANG with you because you coined the term.
I came up with it in part because I wanted people in it. Someone this weekend came up to me and thanked me for having them buy FANG. And then another guy came up and said, I bought FANG too. And they were all people who checked in with their kids. And their kids said, yeah, Facebook is what I'm on, Instagram and Amazon, obviously, and Netflix, of course. People, I have a cord-cutting daughter who has a smart TV. And then Alphabet is what you learn you couldn't be on when you're at school because it's too much cheating. So, yeah, look, the group is good. And there's always someone who wants to slag the group. And go right ahead. The group is not expensive, except for Amazon.
All right, let's move on to GM. The shareholder meeting, shareholders will vote on the Einhorn plan.
Yeah, that was a stupid plan. You're not supposed to ever criticize a hedge fund manager for doing something stupid, but they're like everybody else. Sometimes they do stupid things. That idea of splitting off those two streams when it's peak autos, Doug Cass right about peak autos, would be just the ultimate in recklessness, given what we've seen about auto cycles over time. So that was painful, and I'm glad it's behind them. Apparently it was more than 90% voted against Einhorn. It's one of those things where Einhorn should, when you criticize Einhorn, he comes after you. So I don't know, I don't play for dinner, but it was stupid.
Okay, and then CSX approving quite a pay package for its CEO.
Look, David Faber's been saying over and over again, this guy has revolutionized the railroad. My writing partner, Matt Horween, and I have been trying to theorize how much of was Michael Ward that he inherited, because I think Michael Ward wasn't a bad manager. But apparently he's directing the actual trains, and that can have an impact. I don't know. Is someone worth it? Well, this stock has been the best performer among the best performers in the S&P. So, yeah, he deserves it.
All right, moving to a retail name, J. Crew, Mickey Drexler stepping down.
I don't think anyone could really have turned around. J. Crew is an apparel company in the mall, and the mall is dying. Apparel's dying. Now, PVH has managed to transcend that, and they just won some illustrious awards for Calvin Klein for their designer. But PVH's strength is inventory control at the mall and great growth in Europe. J. Crew did not have that as a backdrop. And by the way, Madewell was doing quite well. I know wasn't able to blow that out. But, I look at Mickey's situation. I say he said he was overrun by technology, and that's true. But, let's see what James Brett does from West Elm. But I think that the idea, if you go over the conference calls for Lululemon, last quarter, not this one. If you go over the last two conference calls for Urban Outfitters and you talk about fashion, I think you would understand exactly the jam that Mickey was in. I don't want to judge Mickey too harshly. He's one of the great merchants of our time. and I don't think that anyone can really navigate that scenario. Zara's Identics has had some luck in fast supply chain, but look at Ralph Lauren. I mean, Ralph Lauren's a remarkable label, and that's not done well. And I can just, I can tick off all the different apparel companies that are having trouble in the mall. Mickey was just one of them. That's all.
All right, and then on Mad Dash on Squawk on the Street, you talked about Thor Industries.
Yeah, I mean, Thor missed the quarter last time, and I was reluctant to recommend it. I said it was in the penalty box, and I was willing to miss a better quarter, and they gave you a better quarter, so I missed it. Sometimes that happens. I have to stick by my discipline. But the recreational vehicle numbers are up very big, and the trend looks for real, and if the stock comes in, it will be a buy again.
And then on Stop Trading, you talked about Citrix.
Yeah, well, Citrix, yesterday we had a corporate governance conference for Street Deal BoardX, and the CEO of Citrix was talking about how you have a tremendous surge in Bitcoin, and Bitcoin is what the bad guys demand to be paid in when you have a cybersecurity breach. They can't be paid in cash, that's traceable, but Bitcoin's not traceable. So I thought that was a very interesting point. He said the European banks, he did not mention our banks, but the European banks, when they're hit by ransomware or European companies, they pay in Bitcoin. So they've always been buying Bitcoin to be ready for the next ransom attack.
All right, and Jim, we'll wrap up here with earnings to watch, Brown-Forman.
Yeah, I see Constellation Brands, that's one of the nifty 50, so to speak, going up. And CNBC reported that they may have been in talks with Brown-Forman. Brown-Forman's a family company. I have no idea why Brown-Forman necessarily would want to sell, but family companies occasionally do want to sell. Brown-Forman, they had that Tennessee, they had a couple of new iterations of Jack Daniels. The Browns are doing quite well in terms of whiskey. I think that Jack Daniels has not moved up enough. Constellation bought High West, which is a remarkable high end. I keep waiting for Brown-Forman to put out some very high end scotches and whiskeys, rye, bourbon. Maybe they have something, but I would in the meantime tell you I'd rather be in Constellation.
Okay, Jim Cramer, thank you so much as always. And for more information on the stocks Jim mentioned, please head back to thestreet.com.